Welcome into Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. I am Tom Down, and here with some winners and losers from the first preseason game. We're not talking about the scoreboard. Yes, the Steelers won. We'll talk about the play that won it, of course, in the end. But we're focused on the individual players, the guys who matter, who fare well and who didn't fare so well. We'll do this every week after the preseason. We'll keep you guys covered throughout the preseason and the regular season. Roster cuts coming tomorrow for Pittsburgh. So if you want the best Steelers coverage this season, hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Let's talk 5 winners from the first preseason game against Seattle. We begin with running back Jaylen Warren. In terms of the ones, the starters, there was no Najee Harris, but I was pretty darn impressed by Anthony McFarland. He had a big, nice 24-yard run, but by the consistency and reliability of Jaylen Warren. He had a pretty impactful game on the ground and also through the air. 6 carries, 34 yards. I would argue most importantly, 4 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown in the passing game. Pittsburgh is looking for. They are trying to find a backup running back, and Benny Snell was banged up. McFarland played fine, but Warren, I think, made a big impact in terms of his chances of actually making the 53-man roster. I was very impressed by Warren. That third down ability could be massive for him in terms of making this team. You knew George Pickens was going to be on here. We have hyped him up pretty much every chance we've been given on Steelers Talk, and that continued into the game. He was simply put outstanding in this performance. In a limited snap count, I'm checking my numbers right now, Pickens had just 21 snaps. He basically was out there for the Mitch Trubisky drive and a little bit of the Mason Rudolph one. 3 catches, 43 yards, a beautiful touchdown as well, a 26-yarder from that standpoint, and he showed off the nastiness that we saw. I'm sure you saw the highlight on Twitter, right, of George Pickens' run blocking. Depleted that poor defenseless defensive back. Kobe Bryant, thank you, producer Jeremy. Just knocked him over. He worked Bryant all day in that game. Look, I get it was a second-round pick against the fourth-round pick. Pickens is that guy. He, I think, is going to be a stud for this team. I was very impressed by George Pickens. An easy winner for me in this matchup. But I want to hear from you some more hype on George Pickens. How excited are you about his play? Scale this for me 1 to 10. 1 being you're not hyped at all. 10 being you are just sky high or anything is going to be a star, better than Juju ever was. This is the pinned comment on today's video, so if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Let me know your hype level in the comment section. Now, we could almost go with any of the 3 quarterbacks. I thought they all played pretty well overall, but I thought Kenny Pickett had to be your number 1 quarterback winner out of this game against Seattle. 13 of 15, 95 yards, 2 scores, including the game-winning touchdown. Also contributed 16 yards on the ground. I was impressed by Mitchell Trubisky. If I had to rank him, I'd go Pickett, Trubisky, Rudolph in terms of just how impressed I was. Not like Mason played bad, though, either. Your first-round pick, despite... I'm old enough to remember the claim, he might not play at all in the preseason. I never bought that. Never made any sense because that would have been really stupid. I thought Trubisky played well with the starters, 4 of 7, 63 yards and a score. I thought Rudolph was fine as well, 9 of 15, 93 yards. I want to bump up that average a little bit there, 1 touchdown. But Pickett was even better. I was very impressed by Pickett. We did not see any, unsurprisingly, of Chris Oladokun. Maybe we see him in the 3rd preseason game, but I kind of doubt it from that standpoint. I thought Pickett played awesome, and with all the uncertainty, the concern entering this first preseason game about the quarterback position, as far as you can take a big deep breath over a preseason game, I think that's what the Steelers got in this one. So let's bring back one of our favorite questions. Pick a starter. Is it Kenny Pickett? If so, type in KP. Is it Mitch Trubisky? You can type in MT. Or is it Mason Rudolph? You can type in MR on that one. Sound off for me in the comment section. Next up, Gunnar Oshsky, the receiver, special team stud from the Patriots. He was also pretty impressive. It was unquestionably a blown coverage that allowed Gunnar Olszewski to get so wide open, but it was an easy score. 3 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown in his Steelers. I put debut in quotes. It's not a real game. You get the football for scoring your first touchdown. Yeah, but it's not a real game, so who really cares from that standpoint there? He's kind of been overlooked in the actual wide receiver battle, but his return ability, his special teams values, I've always thought he was going to make this football team. Now, he did not do any returns for Pittsburgh in this one. That was McFarland, Tyler Vaughns. They gave Steven Sims a good return as well. But between contributing on offense, I think he can be a potential slot receiver for you. He offers some outside receiver ability as well if you need him to. I think he's going to make this team. I think the impact on offense, plus what we know about him as a core special teamer, means he's safe, along with Deontay Johnson, Chase Claypool, George Pickens, Calvin Austin, and then things get tight between Anthony Miller, Miles Boykin. Those two guys didn't make a major impact. Boykin had 2 catches. Maybe Steven Sims can flash as well. Now, today's show is made possible by our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and then use promo code Steelers125. Get yourself a 125% deposit bonus. It's Steelers-Jags in the preseason. You can bet on this game. Jacksonville's a 2-point favorite. I'm not sure I'd bet on them. I actually like Pittsburgh because of the quarterback depth they have. I'm betting on Pittsburgh to win that matchup. You can fade me or agree with me. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code is Steelers125. Last up is linebacker Mark Robinson. Now, he had a sack in this game, the off-ball linebacker did. I was pretty impressed overall by his play. He had the forced fumble as Drew Lock I don't really know what he was doing that one. Lock played pretty well, but then he had the boneheaded mistake there. The forced fumble, he had 5 sacks in this one. The quarterback hit, the sack, the forced fumble. He's pushing very hard to make this team's roster, and I think he did help himself in a big way. If you want to earn a minimum practice squad spot, best way to do it is make splash plays, and that's what Robinson did. He's fighting along with Devin Bush, Miles Jack, Robert Spillane, and other linebackers as that team has kind of shuffled the back end of the roster to make the 53. Keep an eye on him making it this year. Now, if you love the Pittsburgh Steelers, show me that you do by liking this video right now. Perfect opportunity to go do so before we get to the losers against Seattle. In life, there are losers. It's important to keep an eye on who doesn't perform the way you'd hope in the preseason. First up is the offensive line. I was pretty whelmed by their performance. I thought some guys, but I thought Dan Moore overall played well. I think he allowed a sack, but was pretty solid overall. Chuck Okorafor played well. Your starters were okay. Well, outside of Kendrick Green, he did not have a good performance. I would feel rather confident saying that unless something funny happens, Kevin Dotson should be your starter at left guard, but he didn't play. Kendrick Green played, didn't perform very well. It's also not surprising when Chaz Green sucks, because he's been bad for years, but that's how life works in the NFL. There's a severe lack of reliable offensive line play. Not enough production out of them, but that tends to happen. Next up is Mateo Durant. Now, Durant did play more than Master Teague, the UDFA the Steelers picked up a little bit ago in terms of the timing, but he only had 2 carries, and he only had 4 yards as well, and the only back to catch a pass was Jaylen Warren. He's clearly behind Warren in the pecking order in terms of the offense, or in terms of the running back room. Master Teague outplayed him on fewer snaps. I won't read that much into it, although I thought Teague and Warren both ran pretty well, and Durant had a long of 5, 2 carries, 4 yards. He's stuck behind Snell and McFarland, and now Warren, and maybe Teague as well. That's something to keep an eye out for, because I think Durant right now is fighting for a practice squad spot at best. If you guys have other names you want us to mention, feel free to put them in the comments section for us. You can name your winner. You can name your loser. Do it right now in the comments, your winner and losers, or winners and losers from week 1 of the preseason. Devin Bush is next up here, and that was bad, guys. Devin Bush, and I've said before, I'm not out on Devin Bush. I'm not out on Devin Bush. I'm getting closer to being out on Devin Bush after that performance. I'm sure you saw the play, right? Devin Bush at linebacker. Running back kind of has a little cutback lane. He's right in there, and they just didn't do anything. Like, Devin Bush was caught flat-footed. Maybe he lost the sight of it. I'm not sure. But he just was caught flat-footed, led to a big gain, lack of confidence, lack of everything. That was a huge issue for Devin Bush. I am concerned around him right now because that was a problem. Miles Jack, I thought, played really well in a very small snap count, relative to other guys out there. Played 8 snaps. Robert Spillane didn't play a little better. I am worried about inside linebacker, too. Because Devin Bush, man, you're out there and you make 0 tackles. I'm worried. Unfortunately, there are some injury losers. That is Ahkello Witherspoon. I don't have the full details on the severity yet for Witherspoon, but he did suffer a shoulder injury in the first quarter. Beyond that, I thought he was playing pretty well, but that's a red flag. If he's not healthy, you're going to lean heavily on Cam Sutton, on Levi Wallace. They got to figure out a way to include the corner one, I suppose, or covering receiver ones. Witherspoon, I think, can be that guy with his size and length. Hopefully, he's okay. Also, Carl Joseph, the former first-round pick by the Raiders, was carted off with a leg injury. I wasn't sure if it was knee or ankle watching it live. Hope he's okay. We'll keep you guys covered on that. Remember, roster cuts are coming tomorrow. If the injuries are severe, they can put a player on IR, and that would end their season, but also free up a roster spot so you don't have to cut somebody else. That is the end of today's Steelers winners and losers video. If you made it to the end, we appreciate you. Type in "Here we go" if you are a real one.